Welcome Meebit fans. In this video I want to show you the progress we made on the talking Meebits. So let's jump right into a demonstration. So first I just want to open the reference scenes we have around, which basically provides an armature, which is called Meebit armature. Once that's in place, we can then select importing our Meebits we want for this scene. So the Blender add-on we have will make this an option. And let's just navigate into a set of Meebits. On the right hand side here you can see some different options, and those are determining what kind of how do you want the import to be optimized. In this case we want to have this for the speech experiment which we're working with, so we're importing these 4 Meebits into Blender. So now it's converting it from the Vox format into a format more suitable for Blender. So we see we got 4 Meebits. They all have an armature which is rigged. They all have a head. You can move them around if you want to do that, back and forth. Of course it's best to move it from the armature, and it's being stuck. In addition, you see these bones, and these bones are basically what's controlling the speech of the Meebits. So if you take one of those, go into pose mode and then move it, as you move over here you see the mouth actually changes. So each of the there's a bone for each of the phonemes within the Preston Blair method which we're using, and we're definitely things we can optimize here for how different sounds will be expressed. So the next thing now is we want to import the phoneme so we can actually see how it talks. To do that we go into object mode, and we go into pose mode. We select the bone and we go into animation tab, and now basically we have a plugin here which will handle animating these phonemes based on a file which basically contains at which frame there's a different sound come. So we'll come back to this file, how you can actually get this in the first place. So let's then just select this file. Should be this one, the dat file, and once we've done that we can plot the keys to the timeline, and we see we actually now have a set of animations being automatically created. So now of course you can run this and you can see it's talking, but we also want to have the sound at the same time. So to do that we'll go back all the way, we'll create a video sequencer and add the audio we had for which created basically these phonemes. So this WAV file here is being imported.
You're not hearing what he's saying. They spoke!
That is not possible.
I'm telling you, Dreyfus, they did. It was incredible.
So what you heard now is that you could see this, the first Meebit, the pig Meebit talking. So let's just import the one for the first Meebit as well. Just move all the way back. We select the armature. We go into pose mode, select a single bone. We now select a different dat file for this person. This is the guy. And then we, at the end, just click plot keys to timeline. So now it should have done the keyframe animation. So let's just run it again.
You're not hearing what he's saying. They spoke!
That is not possible.
I'm telling you, Dreyfus, they did. It was incredible.
Incredible! They're talking apes! You're not hearing what he's saying.
So that's the first example. Now it's stopping after 250 frames because of this general setting. So let's just, I know it's 1575 frames. So let's go a bit into details about what is actually happening here. So for each of these Meebits, when they're being imported, I'll go back to object mode, the head is actually severed from the body. So the head itself is now a separate object, but it's parented to the body. So when you move the armature, it follows that. But it has no bone from the armature which controls it. But what it does have is a set of shape keys, which, let me see, they are controlled. Where can I find? Yeah. So these shape keys. So these are really the key to like what kind of transformation is being done for each of the sounds. The shape keys themselves, they have a driver, which means that they get their values from something else. So if we go into the driver for this one, we can see it basically goes down into this, that it selects the value from an armature, which is the armature you see on the right hand side, and it selects it from a single bone, so the AI bone. So that means when that bone here is moved on the x-axis, it changes the value for the shape key, which again causes the animation. And these shape keys, they are generated by code. So basically we're saying that when we have the AI basically says that the top value, which is 1, it doesn't go anymore, means that you should move the head up slightly and you should rotate it on an angle. But we can use the same technology to also deform the mesh or change the mesh as part of the shape key, which allows us to do different ways of talking if we want to do that. Other thing worth covering, right now the armature is it's the same armature being copied for everyone, so you can post that as well, which is something we've had before. You can just do this with the standard animation tools, and of course you can animate those as well. We haven't tested yet how we can sort of move the head more as part of the armature as well, combine it with the talking, but that's a future thing. Like I said, the heads are being cut off right now. So basically we have a simple implementation right now, which just says anything above 51 level on the Z axis is being cut off. But obviously we want to do some improvements to that, because you see like the blue hair, it's cut off. So we want to take some of these things and include that within the head. That's a future improvement we have. If we look on sort of the necessary Blender tools, these are being handled by add-ons. So of course we have the Meebits add-on, which is the one we're developing. That's open source. It's available on the Meebits DAO organization in GitHub, and basically that's where you can install this. And also has another conversion tools with both from the command line and from a Docker container, where it converts it from the Vox format into GLB, an object, an FBX, and possibly other formats in the future. And we're using that to batch convert all the Meebits, sort of, which the Meebits DAO owner members have. In addition, there is this separate one for creating, separate add-on for creating these keyframes. This is something called Lio import lip sync. It's basically you import this as an add-on within Blender, and it basically creates keyframe from the phonemes in a supplied file. So that's the one which, when we have the armature selected, we go into animation, or we get this extra tab here, and then we need to go into post mode and select the single bone to be able to apply it. So the output of this is basically it creates keyframes for the armature itself, which again moves the shape keys on that person. The next thing we should cover is this file which covers the phonemes. So let me bring that up. So this is basically the input file. So instead of having the actual words, it's the different sounds the mouth make, which is here. So this is created with a specific frame rate. So now I create this with 24 frames. So it must match what you have in the video. So basically it says that on frame 101, the Meebit should make the sound AI, and the next one it should do a different sound, and so on. And there are probably multiple different tools to generate these type of files. The one we've been using here, it's something called Papayago. So it's an older tool which has been sort of revived lately, and basically you import a WAV file with the talk or the speaking you want to have. You type in the different spoken text, and then you are responsible for placing the words at the correct position. So let's have a look at this sentence where that's not possible.
That is not possible.
So you see an example here, but for each of these words, I need to make sure that they're placed at the right point of time.
Not possible.
So if one word bleeds into the other, you typically just want to adjust it here to make it more correct. And down here you see the different phonemes it's being broken down to, but you don't do anything with those. You just work with it on the word level. Very important tip of advice is that make sure that your sentences are correct before you start fine-tuning it, because if you need to change some of the sentences, it sort of messes with everything else. Hopefully that's something the active developers can do something with, but it's not in place currently. Once you have that, you would then export it, and you export it into that file, which is the type of file I showed you here. There's probably multiple different sources for this kind of file, and ideally we want to have this real time. So as you're speaking, it's just generating these different sound, which again drives the armature, which drives the shape key. I think that's pretty much what we wanted to show. I'll just open a scene here. You can see a bit more advanced. So this basically shows a scene. I've just been placing these people right now. I think I'm moving a camera. You can then...
Kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I don't want to create a panic.
He could have killed us. He didn't.
Maybe he kept us alive so they could follow us. They find out where we are, and they kill us all.
What do you mean, he?
That's what we're trying to tell you, okay? It was unlike...
So it kind of shows you that you can quickly get up a quite advanced scene by just having the mouse move. Of course, then you would do normal type of animations on the rest of it, which I haven't bothered to do for this one. So I think that's a good start for the introduction here. Lots of improvements we want to do around basically understanding how the mouth should move with the different phonemes. We probably will look into different ways of talking, so more traditional mouth and deformation of the mesh. We also want to drive this, if you export it into a VRM format, to see how different applications can trigger these. And also looking at how the head is cut off, make sure that like for this character with the blue hair, the hair is part of the head. For elephants, we want to make sure that the trunk stays with the elephant, and so on. So I think that's a good introduction. Hope to create some new videos showing you a bit more detail on how to use that in the future. So long.